1967 was a year of momentous events around the world and within our own country. Many of the events were eerily similar to those occurring today. On November 30th of that year, Richland Sertoma Club brought a group of outstanding community leaders together at Forest Lake Country Club, and a legend was born. That night, North Lake Sertoma began a journey of excitement and anxiety, joy and sadness, success and failure, and great adventures. It would involve scores of men committed to the idea of service to mankind and dedicated to making life better in their community, state, and nation. This is their story. The first decade was stressful for North Lake. Commitment of early members waned and attrition took its toll. Presidents Walter Brooks, Frank Register, Jinx Michael, and Ray Bayless struggled to inspire the club, and by 1970 North Lake was meeting for breakfast at the Forest Motel on Two Notch Road. Transfer of Ray Bayless left leadership in the hands of Jerry Birchfield, and over the next 2 years the club grew and began making its mark. Through fundraisers like golf events and car wash and basketball ticket sales, the club established the Harry M. Lightsey Scholarship at the University of South Carolina Law School, donated funds to help establish Camp Martin for intellectually challenged individuals, and donated equipment to Midland Center for Retarded Citizens. Interesting and diverse guest speakers such as Congressman Floyd Spence, Buford Mabry, Assistant Director of SLED, and Jim Harvey, Director of Prisons, inspired increased community involvement through Heritage Week essay contests and Service to Mankind awards to outstanding community volunteers such as Dr. Ben Stans, pioneer in methadone treatment, Clay Norman, founder of Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and civic icon Georgina Tapp. Bob Bleaves, Gene Todd, Sonny Powers, Joe Reynolds, and Bob Freeman fueled the club's growing stature as they helped create Camp Sertoma, provided funds for Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and supported Carolina Children's Home, Midland Center, and others. As meetings moved to the Market Restaurant and later the Townhouse Hotel, North Lake's second decade saw many accomplishments. Bob Freeman, Gene Boyd, Rick Vandiver, and Jimmy Scruggs initiated new fundraisers and sponsorships. Construction began on Camp Sertoma facilities, and the first campers were selected to attend. Fellowship, fundraisers, and fun helped membership grow to levels not seen since the charter banquet. An annual wine and cheese party and auction, Autumn Fest, Kids Fest, and St. Patrick's Day at 5 Points brought in more revenue, enabling the club to help equip and fund the Columbia Free Medical Clinic, donate playground equipment, audio-visual equipment, kitchen equipment and supplies, a picnic shed, and even an automobile to the Columbia Program for Autistic Children. A permanent memorial to the deceased autistic child of a club member was also established. Bill Spell, Gene Gallin, Ed Kellett, Ed Horton, and Charlie Dickerson kept children a central focus of the club with support for the Irish Children's Program, and President Ed Farley presented a $1,000 check to help build the Midland's first Ronald McDonald House. There were also returns on club investments as attorneys Mason Alexander, Kay Lingle Kuntz, and Steve C. Davis expressed appreciation for Lightsey Scholarship support. Many club donations were sizable, but even small ones were significant to individual families. Funds to assist with medical treatment for a young child at Duke University, help for a family that lost their home and possessions in a fire, and sponsorship of Project Care Bear to help the Family Center provide comfort toys to children in stressful family crises, as well as continued recognition of local volunteers confirmed the club's dedication to their community. As meeting sites changed from the Stadium Steakhouse to Taylor's Family Restaurant, Woodlands Country Club, Celebrity Supper Club, and eventually Steak and Ale, fundraisers continued to be successful. Wine and cheese events and quirky cash bash and lingerie shows led to ambitious and successful projects, including enabling a child with cerebral palsy to speak her first words through their gift of an electronic touch talker. Social life was important to North Lake, and an evening of fun and friendship for visiting Russian scientists was sponsored. Projects like exhibition baseball games between the Gamecocks and Columbia Mets, a gala spring bash featuring the Swinging Medallions Band, and sponsorship of the Roman Gabriel Golf Tournament for multiple sclerosis brought attention to the club, and along with St. Patrick's Day fundraisers, added substantial income. To highlight their mission, the club entered floats in the Caroline Christmas Parade, winning awards each year they participated. More importantly, they sponsored signing Santa events and shopping sprees, allowing underprivileged children to purchase Christmas gifts for family members. Sertomans were rewarded with hugs and expressions of thanks, not only from children and families, but also from Miss World, Gina Tollison. The decade also saw the first death of an active club member, but rather than dwell on tragedy, the club responded by funding Holbrook Field, an athletic field at Camp Sertoma. The club's fourth decade saw the end of a century, the beginning of a new millennium, and a truly historical event as Northeast Sertoma Club voted to merge with North Lake. This brought a powerful new array of Sertomans, including Gold Coat President Don Golightly, and a rich history of success with events such as polo matches at Wildwood and the Walk for the Cure, and experience in clubs such as Capstone and Columbia East. The new coalition helped accelerate fundraising with garage sales, St. Patrick's Day, and a farm aid parking project. These enabled expanded involvement in Heritage Essay Contests and Service to Mankind Awards, as well as a $2,000 contribution to Make-A-Wish Foundation subsidiary Carolina Sunshine to fulfill a terminally ill child's lifelong dream of a new computer. Great leaders like George Wise, Dwayne Jackson, Jerry Birchfield, Ron Farkas, and outstanding speakers such as Lieutenant Governor Nick Theodore, Fort Jackson Commanding General John Van Alstyne, and candidates for Sheriff and South Carolina Comptroller General continue to inspire members. Palmetto Place for Abused Children, the Keels Elementary School Book Bag Project, and St. Martin de Porres School were beneficiaries of the club's success. Volunteers Charlotte Berry, John Dispenza, Robert Keeter, Henry Main, and Mary Gray Rauscher saw their phenomenal efforts recognized with Service to Mankind Awards. There were also years of great activity at Camp Sertoma, including addition of Bowfin Cabin and the Gateway Project for enhancing camp facilities. North Lake members also represented the Midlands in key Camp Sertoma leadership positions. At the Atlantic Coast Regional Convention in Greenville, the club helped inspire and coordinate the first visit of convention goers to Camp Sertoma. As meeting sites changed once again, the club moved to the Ramada Inn and embarked on perhaps their most unusual sponsorship, the Janitorial Olympics. The club hosted the games to recognize some of the hardest working and least appreciated individuals in any community, housekeeping staff at hospitals, hotels, and other business organizations. Joined by dignitaries such as Columbia Mayor Bob Coble, the event brought fun, excitement, and honor to outstanding workers from throughout the Midlands. The club maximized their impact by combining a Harvest Hope food drive with the Janus Games. And still they sought new creative ways to raise funds. A successful quilt auction brought in needed resources and allowed Sertomans to introduce themselves to the community through a rare broadcast opportunity. North Lake entered its fifth decade as a seasoned club committed to their tradition of service. After 40 years, President Dick Westfall led the club back to the place it all began, Forest Lake Country Club, for the annual Christmas Gala and anniversary party. Subsequently, members voted to return permanently to their birthplace, and Forest Lake was home again. The first years of the new millennium brought challenges to our nation, our state, our community, and our club. Fortunately, seasoned leadership was there to take the reins. Former Presidents Tom Legree, Jerry Birchfield, Rick Vandiver, and Ed Farley stepped up to lead the club into new and exciting endeavors. Joining other Midland Sertomans, North Lake participated in Celebrate Sound, Don't Walk in Silence events, bringing people from across the Midlands together in support of hearing help. New partnerships with Aiken Sertoma helped initiate the Camp Sertoma Golf Tournament, which has so far raised nearly $200,000 to support the camp and ensure all camping slots are filled each year. The decade also saw North Lake turn to events supporting those who serve our country by sponsoring honor flights, enabling World War II, Korea, and Vietnam veterans to travel to the nation's capital to be recognized for their service. The club enthusiastically embraced the Celebrate Freedom Foundation and supported Independence Day freedom flights to honor servicemen and women. But the club's love for those who serve also includes law enforcement officers and firefighters, and plans are underway to find ways to recognize them. These were also years of change for Sertoma, with new state and district structures creating controversy. Clubs formed with enthusiasm and hope faded from existence, and times looked bleak. Despite those difficulties, North Lake remained optimistic and renewed its efforts to serve. Fundraisers like belt charity sales added revenue to help support projects at Camp Sertoma, like constructing a world-class water slide through Operation Sprint for Splash. The club also reached new heights of support for speech and hearing impaired children, regularly sending 6 to 10 campers each year. Dedicated members Tom Legree, Ed Farley, Dick Westfall, Sonny Powers, and longtime Secretary Chuck Meehan were recognized as Sertoman of the Year, and Sonny received the Lifetime Service Award from Sertoma, Inc. Members demonstrated ongoing enthusiasm with participation in regional conventions in Williamsburg, Raleigh, Clemson, Savannah, Virginia Beach, and district leadership conferences in Columbia. An amazing new partnership was formed when Delta Zeta sorority members at the University of South Carolina became allies in addressing the needs of those challenged by hearing and speech disorders. Beginnings of South Carolina was formed with support from North Lake and now serves as a vital resource for families of infants with newly diagnosed hearing loss. Camp Wonder Hands and a brand new organization, Hearts and Hands at Palmetto Health, were joined by the club in ongoing efforts to expand our mission activities. The injection of new leadership blood with the election of President David Cook and the addition of Camp Sertoma Representative Charles Foster led to renewed hope and inspiration for the club. With additional fundraising efforts through flea market sales and the resurrection of garage sales, new funding opportunities were created. And now, as we prepare to celebrate a half-century of success and look to the future for new challenges and new friendships, we hope you will join us in raising a glass to toast a truly remarkable organization and an even more remarkable Sertoma family. Congratulations to North Lake Sertoma on 50 years of success.